Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Maths with Miss S. This is the revision video on fractions. So in this video I'll talk about how to add, subtract, multiply, divide fractions. So whenever you add or subtract fractions, you need to find a common denominator. This is where you have to do it, and it's the only time you have to find a common denominator. But you can't add or subtract if you don't have the same denominator or the same kind of pieces, basically. Once you have the common denominator, write everything on one fraction line, use the original symbol, so pluses and minuses, and the common denominator. Important, do not add or subtract your denominators there. You use your common denominator, there's no changes made after that. You can also use the butterfly trick, watch the video on that if you want to use it, and simplify after. Whenever you add or subtract or use the butterfly trick, always check if you can simplify. It's very likely that you can when you use the common denominator that you get with the butterfly method. Now, when you multiply, you do not need to look for any common denominators. All you have to do is multiply your numerators and put it over the product of your denominators, and then you simplify. So that's quite simple. Just multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, and then simplify before you actually multiply those numbers out. When you divide fractions, you do not need to look for common denominator. Again, all you need to do is use the KFC rule. KFC stands for keep the first fraction, flip the second fraction, and change the sign or symbol from a division to a multiplication. Now, after that, all you have to do is follow the rules of multiplications. So you multiply and then you simplify. Or alternatively, you can also cross multiply the first numerator with the second denominator and the other way around. That would be the cross multiplication trick. Now, whenever you're dealing with mixed numbers, you can always change your mixed numbers into improper fractions. But when you're adding or subtracting, you can use the trick that I showed you in adding and subtracting fractions part 7. So just have a look at that. But what always works is changing your mixed numbers into improper fractions. What happens then is that you get quite big numerators. So when you add or subtract, I would recommend using the little trick I showed you there. But if you want to play it safe, always change it into improper fractions. And this actually has to happen when you multiply or divide. But when you add or subtract, you have some options there. And that's the summary.